So this presentation is a shameless attempt to entice you all to visit our site, befuddledmuse.com, to read my fiction and to see some of my daughter's paintings. If you visit, please make sure to leave a comment for us, and please be sure to share the link with your friends. Early on, I learned that books were a great way to escape from my somewhat unpleasant childhood. In junior high and high school, I discovered I loved to write for much the same reason, and I wrote some pretty good stuff for that age. In college, I took writing courses, I submitted to competitions, but it was the 70s, and in those days I thought everything I had to write had to be politically conscious. Writing political screeds makes for really, really embarrassing fiction, but it makes for excellent reporting. And hopefully most of my reporting for the next 10 years of my life was not fiction. I did more fully learn the mechanics of writing, and I did learn how to deal with deadlines, usually. So reporting took me to desktop publishing, which took me to web design, which took me to web and application development. Along the way, I found a wife, had a couple rugrats, and lived a pretty good life. I didn't stop writing completely, however. I wrote a few stories. I started writing and then kind of not writing a mixed genre novel, which I'm going to have a heck of a time selling if I ever do finally finish it. In 2014 or 15, we're still debating this, my daughter Jamie suggested we start doing creative prompts together. She would paint, I would write stories, then we'd compare our notes and see what we came up with. I, being who I am, of course, built a website to show off our work. In my very first story for this prompt, an astronaut found himself writing a goodbye note to the rest of the crew who were still in stasis. He was saying goodbye because of a terrible accident with a glue gun and a robot. I still love this one, and I'm already writing a second half to it. A time traveler is willing to give up his entire known future to save England's real-life 9 days queen from the executioner's block. What happens when you're put into suspended animation for hundreds of years to reach the nearest star system, only to find out that humans discovered faster-than-light travel a few years after you left, and in the intervening years, you've become a legend. Notice the 3D pen work by my daughter there. In Pea Soup, a court reporter who loves puzzles, kind of like me, figures out where millions of dollars from a crime are hidden, only to be betrayed by the prosecutor who set him up as the fall guy. This one was written in October before the election. It's the best explanation I've seen of why Trump is president now. It's because President Clinton won, or at least thought she won, her bet with the devil. This story, by the way, is now in audio, and 2 more are coming in audio soon. Jamie and I both were fascinated by a sculpture that we saw in Montmartre Cemetery in Paris. In my story, based on slivers of history, a famous painter is destroyed while living a double life during France's brutal occupation of Algiers. A fitting tomb is built by his friend and protege. What happens when a hack author, also like me, can no longer tell the difference between real life and the creations of his own mind? This is my most favorite story I've ever written. Sometimes the stupidest and weirdest prompts are the ones that actually make you write the best stories. The Big Gumshoes is a bizarre and wonderful mashup of film noir, circus life, and offbeat humor. When you visit befuddledmuse.com, make sure you read this one and the next one if you read nothing else. Something was prompted by the very beautiful and haunting song, Bury My Lovely by October Project. The song and its accompanying video were really dark. I was really surprised to find out that my story was darker yet. The best of my writing often feels like it comes through me as much as it comes out of me. In this story, evil will not let go of a place and people caught in its web. My most recent piece is from a prompt suggested by CDPUG's own John Ribbrich, who threatens to contribute to befuddledmuse.com as well. Will intelligence recognize itself when it sees itself in a mirror with very different eyes? So now you've had a tour through some of my writing and seen some of Jamie's paintings. I hope it'll entice you to come to visit befuddledmuse.com. When you do, leave us a comment. Make sure you share the link with your friends.